September 16th, 2024. We're back at the attrition collection here under the porch block foundation. They're swarming a bit today because we changed up the visual orientation, but they're figuring it out, and as they come back home, we suck them up as they're coming and going. We use a canopy to keep this from overheating. Helps to keep it in the shade a little bit. As you can see along the block foundation and underneath the wood molding above it, there were just many entrances that the wasps are using all along that area. So we decided not to completely tape it off. Reason being, we didn't want to force them up into the living space of the porch above. We saw them exploring around the whole area, working very hard to find their way back in, and we didn't want that to happen up into the porch. The clients had a very nice screened-in porch up there that they use every single day, so we didn't want it crawling with wasps. You have to be careful that you're allowing them to stay out of the main structure during the removal itself. This is why we always tell clients, if you see wasps entering the outside of your building, going into your property, into your building somewhere, the foundation or the walls or behind the siding, whatever it is, never spray the outside of the building with poisons or whatever, because you're just going to force them further into the building. They're going to flee the poison like any living animal that's trying to survive. They're going to run away from what's killing them. That's going to force them right into your basements, your walls, your bedrooms, your living rooms, wherever your living space is right behind that wall. And we knew that eventually they would learn that if it's a struggle to get in here, they're just going to come around the front entrance anyway. It's just a matter of time before we get them all. So you can see them hovering around the bee vac. That's because they smell their pheromone that's coming from the device where the nest is, through the tube and out the silver vent you see on the top of the bee vac. And so they smell their home here. So they are very interested in this area. They can't quite figure out why it smells like their house over here. So they hover around there for that reason. And then they go back to their nest ultimately, and we're able to collect them over there. This is why you always want to place your vented vac device as far away from the entry point as possible, just to make it more efficient so they're not spending all their time circling around the vac. You want them to reorient as quickly as possible back on the nest entry where you can collect them. As we slow down the footage here, you can see the reorientation behavior that the wasps are engaged in. Whenever you change up the environment around the entrances they're used to seeing, they have to readjust by doing orientation flights to figure out what's happening, assess any threats, find their way back home, because they visually orient on everything. You put tape on the wall or you put a device next to their openings or whatever. All of these things make them reorient, and so they float around a little bit while that happens. The one thing you can count on is that ultimately, no matter what you change, they will go back to the entrances they're used to using. They are instinctually driven to continually attempt to get back home, and they must do this. And by sundown, they will have already done that, no matter what you have changed up. So as long as you have your collection device next to a very active entrance point, you will collect them. It's just a matter of time. They can't help it. They're going to go back to that point no matter what eventually. So if you want to try this at home, rather than pay a company to come out and spread poison around the outside of your house or whatever crazy things that a lot of pest control companies just sort of do automatically, all you have to do is get yourself a shop vac. You can use it every season. It's a good investment if you don't have one. But every time you see a nest like this, where they're entering from the outside, you can simply set up your shop vac, plug it in, and let it run for a few hours every day until you see reduced activity during peak hours. Usually the most active hours are when the sun is high in the sky and the sun is directly hitting the entrance of the nest, or at least daylight is, and that's when they're most active, and you will collect thousands of wasps this way, and you will knock your own population down to the point where it becomes manageable, and eventually you can starve out the nest simply through vacuum extraction. You don't ever need to use poison. Just put a couple of inches of water in the bottom of the shop vac with a little couple drops of dish soap just to break the surface tension on the water, so when the wasps drop in, they drown instead of floating around on the water. The soap and the water combined suffocates them immediately. It's a fast, relatively humane death if you do have to kill them. That's a decent way to do it. We prefer, of course, that you call us so we can take care of that for you and collect them for Venom Immunotherapy so that they don't go to waste. But if you do have to kill a nest, just remember, you never have to use poison. Anything that you use that is a toxin in the environment is going to kill everything it touches. Every other type of insect, any animals that come by, it's not good for people. It does cause lasting effects in the environment that are all negative. So don't use poisons, no matter what the pest control companies or the corporations who sell you these cans of spray will tell you. It's all toxic. There is nothing good about any of it. So go ahead and use alternate green techniques like vacuum extraction and soap and water. You can mix up essential oils like peppermint oil, clove oil, lemongrass oil. All of these things wasps do not tolerate well. They can act as a natural deterrent, and between vacuum extraction, soap and water to actually do contact kill, and the deterrent of essential oils, really between those things you're not going to need poisons. That's the bottom line. If there's any doubt about the effectiveness of this technique in your mind, just watch this footage. We're going to slow it down again here for you in just a minute. Watch how many, when you slow it down, how many wasps are just getting sucked into this vacuum device just by simply leaving it up against the area where you see them entering and leaving. It's that simple. If you put this tube against that space, you will collect wasps. Just watch how it works in slow motion. Wasp after wasp after wasp just keeps getting sucked into the device. So it's kind of mind-boggling that if this technique works so well, that people insist on poisoning their own homes. Once you become aware of this, that you don't need poison, and that you see how well this works and reduces the population naturally with no poison, why would you not use it? All we can guess about that is that people are just indoctrinated from birth in our society to believe the corporate advertising, that you must spray and kill everything you see in the environment, including wasps. You have to kill them all with a giant can of poison, and that's the only way to do it because people are simply unaware. No one else tells them that there's many other better options. So you don't even have to take our word for it. Just look at how this works and try it yourself sometime. Once you try this, you're never going back. There is no need for poison once you figure this technique out. Most styles of wet-dry vacs will last you for years and years. It's a pretty minimal investment, and you can use this every season, every time. We also recommend people buy a basic bee suit. You can get them for a couple $100 on Amazon these days, and they will last you years and years if you take good care of them. That way, when you do have a need for them, you've got them right in your kit. You've got them in your garage or your closet. You're ready to go. And if you add up the years and years of money that you would spend on poison and toxins to make yourself and your living space less healthy, and you compare that to the one-time investment, basically, for a decent wet-dry vac and a bee suit, really there's no comparison over time. So the techniques we share with people on our channel for green wasp removal, and when we work with the Manchester University Wasp Survey team, we really want people to understand this is not rocket science. Pretty much the simplest of techniques can be used, and the most basic gear can be used to collect wasps, either just to kill the nest naturally if you have to do that, or to collect them for venom immunotherapy, after which they can be frozen and sent to medical labs and put to good use for people who need them to save their lives if they have severe allergies. So really there's no downside to doing any of this. So as you can see here, this nest was extremely productive for venom immunotherapy purposes because German Yellowjackets just have huge populations every time we run into them. So they are one of the most populous species that we deal with, at least around here in upstate Indiana. And they are great for venom immunotherapy that way. So you really can't go wrong. If you have a large nest and you come back enough days for enough hours, you're going to collect thousands of wasps. No doubt about it. So that's exactly what we decided to do with this nest. We just kept coming back, and the clients didn't worry about it because it was an exterior thing. They didn't have a lot of issue with us coming back on the property multiple times. They were super happy not to use toxics on their property, and they knew the value of a green removal. So this was a win-win scenario for everybody. We benefit by collecting the wasps, and we're able to offer them for Venom Immunotherapy, so the patients we're helping win. And then the client wins because they get rid of the wasps that are a danger to them. If you compare that basic win-win scenario with the alternative, which is poison the heck out of your own living space, poison all the beneficial insects who happen to run into the poison you use for the wasps, and to have a long-term waste of all of these important insects, what's the point of poisoning them all? And we're not here to tell you don't hire typical pest control companies. They are necessary in society. Pest controllers do a great job of keeping pests away. We need to do that to live a healthy, safe life as humans. We have to have some type of pest control that might prevent disease or structural damage to properties. There's a place for pest control. The problem is they use too much poison. It's that simple when they don't have to. So we recommend you hire the pest control companies, but then simply ask them to do green removals in this way. They'll do it. If enough people ask them, they'll do it. No problem. Business will follow consumer demand. So as long as consumers are aware and demanding these types of green removals take place instead of having their properties and their homes and their families poisoned, then the pest control business will respond positively by making positive changes. On that note, we're going to end it here, and we'll catch you in part 3. As always, we appreciate you riding along with us today. If you enjoy the content you see on our channel, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment to let us know you're there. Have a good one.